Hello and welcome to this episode of the Book Wars Pod, episode 106 to be exact. Wait, yes, sorry, I was confused because the numbers at the top do not match the numbers in the outline. I'm Chris, struggling to read this outline that was very haphazardly put together in the past 5 minutes.
Oh, sorry.
Oh no,
I tried to do it.
No, that was, I mean, it was me too.
The puppy is in the room. I think he already made noise.
He did.
He's in the room so he doesn't have to be in his crate because he graduated from his puppy pen. And those are
Way to go, Jasper.
Those are the choices. He'd either be in his
tot.
crate or he's in this room with us chewing on smoked Himalayan cheese, which is a great meat alternative if you'd like to feed it to your dogs. It's very hard and great chew toy.
You don't say.
Yeah, it's a thing, apparently. They're expensive. It's stupid.
Shocking.
But they're good for doggos. What are you drinking, Chris? Or do we have pod or show business?
There's
Show business. There
Oh Lord.
is no business.
I think our show business is for me to say that I'm here with Kristen and Miranda again because I don't think I said that.
Oh,
Sure.
hi.
And Jasper, he's eating now finally, which he
And
never
Jasper,
does.
yeah.
That's what that noise is. Cool.
We're all.
Yeah.
I feel like we're all very tired today.
Yeah, we're all really
it is
out
somehow
of
only fucking Tuesday, and I don't.
understand.
Oh, I was very confused this morning. I went into work for like 2 hours, and the whole time I was like, is it Wednesday?
Me and Miranda have been vaguely sick for I've been sick for like a week, and Miranda just got sick like over the weekend. So we're doing great.
Yeah, I've also been sick for like a week. It's not
Yeah.
great.
It's not ideal.
It's just very dry here. It feels like 1 degree outside right now.
That's a no from me.
Yeah, it's not ideal. We went outside today. Orca did not appreciate it.
No, can't imagine he would. It's very windy here today.
I don't like. It was so windy. Keep talking. The dog is
Okay,
trying
yeah,
to
sorry.
get things.
I was watching him. Yeah, I woke up and could hear the wind. Was like, oh shit.
Well, that's a rock.
Oh, those were Kristen's headphones. Everything is going swimmingly.
Kristen's headphones are the rock.
No, I think there was a rock and then the headphones. Did we lose the rock? Jesus. He's sitting on the rock, folks. You heard it here
Classic.
first.
Got to make the rock hatch.
Oh yeah.
Sorry. Leave all that in.
Oh yeah. we have to. Where's the titles?
Oh.
You missed this one.
Oh.
Anyway, we are reading Queen's Shadow by E.K. Johnston, finishing it up, reading chapter 14 through the end. But first, before we start, what are y'all drinking?
Glad you asked, Chris.
Go ahead, Miranda.
We have a great one on the pod today.
You're drinking water, aren't you?
No, I mean we do have some orange Whole Foods brand LaCroix here, but we do have an East Coast institution with us. My parents came out to Oregon for a week. Saw them this weekend.
Oh, I saw this Instagram post. You.
They brought us fucking Yingling.
Cheers.
So I'm sitting in Portland drinking a Yingling.
Oh, I love it.
Just living your most mediocre life.
Fuck off. God, that is so good. Why is it so much better than like PBR?
I mean, because
it's nothing like
PBR is
PBR.
crap.
I mean,
That's not a good bar.
I mean, I will
it
say
is.
like
They're similarly priced.
yeah, which
Okay,
is wild,
that's
'cause
fair.
Yingling is a far superior beer.
Mm-hmm.
Although I do miss it in bottles.
What is he chewing on?
It's a completely different beer, but I really like Lone Star, even though I've had it for like all of 1 week, because that's the only time I've ever spent in Texas.
True.
That's packing tape.
I'm
Lone
really
Star's quite
okay.
good, though.
I'm really okay with the chewing on the packing tape. We'll just let him do that.
Yeah,
He'll
Chris,
never
what are
learn
you
if you
drinking?
don't, right?
Yeah.
I am drinking Redbreast Irish whiskey. I feel like I messed that up last time too. Last time I drank it.
It's kind of a tongue twister.
It is a little bit of a tongue twister.
It's
It is,
okay.
however, also delicious and smooth and warming to the soul when the body is freezing.
I know.
That's a
you
lie. I'm
said-
actually not cold right now because Kate's desk is like right. Kate's desk gets all the heat because it's right above the heat vent. So like
Ooh.
whenever I'm working during the day, I'm like fucking freezing. And Kate's just sitting here, just like just doing her thing. Actually, that's a lie. She's not even sitting here. She's usually asleep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, she needs to do that during the day because she doesn't do it in the night.
That's accurate.
Being a student is hard.
Yes.
Being a Kate is hard too.
Yeah.
That is
also
correct.
True.
Anyway, so Padme,
Yeah.
Queen Shadow.
Yeah.
Shit got like
Real.
surprisingly real. Oh, hey, it's Kate. Hi, Kate.
What's
Hi,
up,
Kate.
motherfuckers?
Type.
It's literally Kate's only contribution to this podcast right now.
The DJ air horn didn't play again.
Ah,
Oh.
Is it because you?
No. There we go.
excellent.
God, that
A
is
great
not what it sounds
Delayed
like.
air horn. A great
For
delayed air
Kate.
horn for Kate.
She's the best.
Air horns out for Kate.
Oh, I heard her whoop.
There you
I'd
go.
love to see it. So this book was fucking depressing.
Yeah.
Super depressing. It was really good.
Mm-hmm.
The epilogue is just like emotional
see-
terrorism as
I
like
don't
on the
like
scale
it.
of Claudia Gray, really. It's very upsetting.
I read through it very quickly just to like not have to deal with it. I
Mhm.
figured if I read it like slowly, I'd have to feel my feelings, and I obviously do not want to do that ever. So like it didn't give me enough time to really cry it out, but god damn. Like once I fucking realized what was happening there,
Yeah, no, it's pretty rude. It's also
Like-
very rude that the first two paragraphs of like the start of the book and the first two paragraphs of the epilogue are the same.
What?
If you go read it, the first two paragraphs of the book and the first two paragraphs of the epilogue are the same.
Oh.
like exactly or
Like exactly the same.
oh shit.
Because in the start of the book, she's floating in the water peacefully, and in the epilogue, she's dead.
God, fuck me, right?
Yeah. It's rude. It's quite rude.
That is super rude. But
Anyway,
that's what
we can
we've
talk
come
more
to-
about the epilogue, but
That's what
Yeah.
we've come to expect from good Star Wars writing.
that it's
Emotional
rude.
terrorism.
Rudeness all around.
Yep.
Yeah.
But anyway, back to the A plot of the book, and we are already seeing Padme kind of unknowingly dealing with the start of the Clone Wars in the Empire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
No, it's not. It's really not.
Like I appreciate that she kind of got in pretty quickly with like, you know, what we view as or who we view as the good guys. Like she gets in there and like befriends Bail and tries to get Mom Mothma to mother her.
Mama as her mom.
Yep. And like we know it. What? Oh God! What kind of is it? Dramatic irony?
Yes.
Is that the one I'm looking for?
Yeah, it's
where
the
we
one
know it?
where we know it, but they don't know it. Yes.
Yeah.
There's like all this dramatic irony here, and like, you know, she, when she goes in this section to visit Mina Bonteri, and she's like talking to a hollow of some weird, creepy guy. We're like,
I wonder who it could be.
it's Bad News Bears. We know who my lord is.
Yeah.
Oh my god. He made it.
Oh my God.
Found a
Oh,
soundboard
Jesus.
for our favorite skit on this show. So
Yep. But yeah, it's crazy because you see like they're like still on the same side ostensibly, and yet Bail and Palpatine like already hate each other.
And I think it's really interesting too in this section as Padme kind of progresses through her, you know, young Senate career. You can see her start to, think differently about her relationship with Palpatine.
Mm-hmm.
Like, obviously there's some resentment, like, I want to, fix slavery and be on this committee, and he's like, no. But at the end, she's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, it's kind of continues the pattern of Palpatine just like always underestimating her a little bit.
And like, I think she had the thought after they got back from doing that cargo transfer for supplies or some shit that was part of the treaty guy. And she's like, oh yeah, like we almost got blown up, but thank God that didn't work out. And Palpatine was like, oh, cool.
LMAO.
Huh, good
Yeah.
for you. Glad you're alive.
He's such a dick.
He is quite rude. And it's like it's dramatic irony, but it's also just like kind of painful because like that he constantly underestimates her, and like he did it all through Phantom Menace and kind of did it in Attack of the Clones, although that was more manipulative, but you see it here and it's like almost more frustrating that that he does eventually win because she dies.
Well, yeah.
Also, it's like, what's dramatic irony when the readers know and no one but Palpatine knows in the story? Because that's basically what it is.
Yeah, basically. And then the really interesting part to me was the visit to Alderaan.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, that was really good.
I was here for that.
Aside from just like the emotions, that was like, it was very interesting to me how much you could see that Bail and Breya were already preparing for a war they didn't even know was coming.
Mm-hmm.
That is a good idea.
Oh my God.
It's a good idea.
Yeah, they're preparing for this war. It was hard to tell, like, for me, if they knew they were preparing for a war. I mean, like, I don't think that anybody could have anticipated what ends up happening at the end of the Clone Wars, but they're just like, making sure they've got their allies in order and making and keeping those good relationships with other systems that will eventually help them. But like to see them talking about it on Alderaan was also just very, very rude.
Alderaan's a peaceful world.
Like so we read Leia, Princess of Alderaan, like back in February, I think.
Sure.
And
Fact check that. Someone. Not me.
it was right when I think it was my first book, and I started in February. So I'm gonna
Continue.
fact check that.
I'll check.
Sure.
But you continue.
But so like that's where we really got our first good view of Alderaan. Obviously because it's about Leia growing up on Alderaan. But I almost feel like some of the stuff we saw in like those chapters, however many there were in here, like the depiction of Alderaan for me was almost better here, because we see it through somebody else's eyes. We see it through via somebody who has never been to Alderaan before, who does not grow up on Alderaan, who is visiting and like gets, she does the touristy stuff. She like goes on a light nature walk outside and like is staying in the palace and it's beautiful
And sees all the art shit.
and like she can differentiate it from other planets, and like she's in the palace, she's like, oh, this is nothing like our other palaces, like
Yep.
it doesn't look what's the word, I've forgotten it. She's not trying to intimidate anyone. Intimidating is the word I was looking for.
It's not. What's that word?
It's not like super ornate. It's just like big and welcoming, and it like so matches what we know of Bail and Breya. And I read it, and it's just awful. I hate it so much.
It is really depressing because you're like, Alderaan's like, yes, we too have no defense systems. Isn't that metal? And you're like,
No, it's not metal.
It's really not metal.
Yeah, it's tough because you see, and this is like, I feel like something that Star Wars authors have had so much time to perfect the writing of these characters who we know are going to die, because, you know, so much of the book canon has been filling in gaps as opposed to blazing new ground, you know, for fair reason, because the Skywalker saga is about to end. But it is brutal, because we have already read Princes of Alderaan, which, Burb, you were right. That was episodes 77 through 80, which we read in February, if anybody wants to go back and listen. We've already read that, so we know Bail and Brea, and we know how much... I mean, we obviously knew already that that they loved their daughter, but we got to see how much they love Padme's daughter. And we get to see kind of the beginning of this, what became an incredibly close friendship that Bail and Brea would have taken Leia under those circumstances where, you know, not only were they risking their lives, but, you know, they were... Uh-oh. Did Jasper eat the rock?
No. Kristen knocked over her beer, and now Jasper is learning about the wonders of Yingling.
I'm going to
sure.
put him in his crate anyway because he's being a dick.
Yeah, he's
being a puppy, but he did just try to play with a folio, which isn't even really a toy.
He pulled
Nice.
it out of the shelf. It was very impressive.
Nice. But yeah, it's
Everybody is perfectly healthy in this house.
Yep, everyone's doing great. But yeah, it's brutal, because you see the start of this, and it's like, it's the, just to, you know, continue to pick up what you were saying, Miranda, it's the ultimate dramatic irony in that not only do we know what's going to happen, but we know that these two people that we meet are going to have a fairly fraught rest of their lives and then die.
Yeah. And it's really hard because we obviously know that they're good people. Like, they're the leaders of the rebellion. The rebellion is good because we're fighting autocracy. But, like, when we get these fill-in books, you know, it's a really great place to flesh out characters like this. And I think the authors, you know, kind of across the board in the canon now, like, they do such a good job of portraying Bail and Brea, who, you know, we didn't really know that much about her. And I think they've delivered depictions that are everything we would have expected them to be like. And, like, knowing that, like, this is how they are as people, this is how they welcome friends into their home, it just makes that dramatic irony so much worse because, you know, they get blown up.
Yeah. And then on the other side, we have Mon Mothma, who, even more than in her, you know, later years as full-on leader of the Rebel Alliance, really wants it to be Star Peace.
So much.
Yeah. It's not going to be like that, though.
I wrote that in the outline. Star Peace.
It's so interesting to me that, like, Padme, who, you know, we talked last episode, we don't think of as a warlike character, is really the most warlike of all of them. And I want to dive into this more next episode.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's a longer discussion. But it's so interesting to see where Mon Mothma starts, because I think even more than Bail and Brea, she changes from now to, you know, A New Hope era.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, that's something we'll dive into in the epilogue, but or epilogue, wrap up. Yeah. Same thing. It's fine. But no, that's a really good point. And, you know, I think that's something we can talk about then too, is like kind of what we were discussing, like the value of, you know, having her in these stories, and really fleshing out her character development.
I also love that she just, like, will not give Padme the time of day at first.
Oh,
and
it's
Padme
so funny.
has to be like, yeah, joke's on you, motherfucker.
I know. She's like, please come be a distraction.
She's like, oh, you want a distraction? I'll give you a fucking distraction.
Yeah.
it's
It
very
was so good.
Teach
Also, oh my god. Also, Bail just like being in company with Qui-Gon and no one else.
Mm-hmm.
Although rewatching Phantom Menace, I question whether Qui-Gon actually knew what was going on the entire time.
Oh God, no. I don't.
Yeah. I don't know. He was a pretty big pothead in that movie.
He was very focused on midichlorians.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it. I thought he seemed surprised when he found out that he was not talking to the real queen the whole time, but.
I don't know. I feel like the response to that would be like, but if he acted like he knew, then everyone would be mad that he didn't tell them.
Well, yeah.
Or whatever the fuck.
This is true.
I don't know, but
Oh my God, he admitted.
Oh my god.
are you saying things just to use this?
No.
Kristen,
That one was
this
real.
podcast is very quickly devolving into Kristen setting herself up for drops.
Listen.
Who says no?
Getting Kristen a soundboard was a huge mistake.
We have to give the people what they want, and they bought me a soundboard. I mean, they bought me a mixer so that I could put in rap air horns and more, I think, was what the asterisk was. So it's fine.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
And then on the other side, we have Mina Bonteri, who
Bitch.
is...
What?
Yeah, not great. Not a great look for Mina Bonteri this
No.
early in the saga.
No, and she like started out so strong, you know. She was like trying to be friendly and recruit Padme to the separatist side. You know, not that it really existed fully yet in the, you know, at least in the way that we see it later. But I mean, I think it was a good idea for her to go to Padme. Padme's already been like, fuck you, the Senate, in her life. And so Mina Bonteri's like, okay, I'm going to be nice to this girl. And then Padme's like, oh, she's really nice. Let's be friends. And then Padme's like, hey, Dark Lord, I'll go do this shit for you.
Fuck. Like,
Yeah.
she literally calls him my lord. It's fucked.
Yeah, if somebody's making you call them my lord, it's generally a big no-go.
Can I just say that it was weird that they didn't address that in the book? It's like she overhears it and she's like, I didn't like her tone. And I was like, what about when she said my fucking lord?
Maybe that's how Onderon works.
Yeah, Onderon has a king. Maybe that's how they address the king.
Maybe Padme is unfamiliar with Onderon's
Ay, ay,
customs.
Stop defending her.
I'm just trolling.
Thank you. I'm
But
aware of that.
It is interesting, though, because we see the only other time we've seen Mina Bonteri, she's kind of being like the heart of the separatists in the Clone Wars for a couple episodes and being like Padme's counterpart to actually try to end the fighting before Dooku just kills her.
Yeah.
And so like that's a switch too, and that's a development that we see, that she kind of starts really instigating this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And rooting for the Republic to fail in that, you know, she doesn't help them save Bromlark at all. Like
And-
she tracks the damage, but she doesn't do anything to help because she wants the Republic to appear, you know, feckless.
Mm-hmm. And
Ugh.
what was my question gonna be?
I don't know. You're just looking at me.
I forgot it. We can. It probably wasn't important.
Probably.
Oh, I remembered it. Sorry.
Naturally.
Was she aware of like the raid on, the
The Pirates.
pirates? That's what they were. Yeah.
I'm assuming that she was.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause,
I'm
like,
assuming that was all part of that.
She seemed to be, you know, very sneaky, talking to Palpy on the hollow in the corridor after Padme like goes to the Senate and is
Yeah.
walking the halls of an empty Senate building.
And she's
Yeah.
like, it's quiet. Almost too quiet.
I definitely think Dooku knew. Whether or not he kind of let her in on the plans, I think is up for a little more debate if she would like straight up send her fellow senators to their deaths.
But was it Hondo?
That is the question.
It was Hondo. Was she talking to Dooku or Palpatine?
I took it as Dooku because it mentioned a deep voice.
Fair.
True.
I don't know. But the My Lord threw me off.
I
'Cause,
think
like, nobody
they both
really
went by that, right?
Do people call Dooku My Lord?
Yeah.
they do.
Oh shit.
Because he's a
May-
count.
Maybe I just don't pay attention. Also, he's a Sith Lord.
Correct.
I took it as Dooku also because Dooku is the leader of the separatists politically as well, and so it wouldn't make a ton of sense for her to be talking with Sidious if she wasn't straight up evil, and that's not really the vibe we've gotten from her.
Okay, that's
Unfortunately, having a shitty son does not make one evil.
So true.
I'm just glad that we didn't have to suffer through any Lux content in this book.
Me fucking too. I was nervous because he gets mentioned, right? With his shitty artwork.
Yep.
Yeah, she has to go talk to her son.
Yeah.
She has
Honestly,
an appointment.
E.K. Johnston has written 2 books in which she would be very justified to bring in Lux Bonteri, and she has not taken the opportunity to do so either time. That is the hero we need.
It's
E.K.
true.
Johnson.
E.K.
Yes.
Johnston is really putting
Hero.
in the work
She is
to
the hero
save
we
us from
need.
Lux Bonteri.
Lux.
We do not deserve.
Stinky.
Stinky. That's what we think about Lux Bonteri. Cool. Good points all around were had. Thank you for putting up with me while I thought it was a good idea to bring the dog in here, and then I knocked my beer over. I'm doing great.
Everyone's doing great.
We're doing the best of this.
I am doing the best at this. Yeah. The clones are growing this whole time. It's wild.
Yeah, we're 5 years before Attack of the Clones. The clones
Fuck
are
me.
like 10 years old right now.
Yep, they're almost baked. It's wild
I was gonna
shit.
say they're half baked.
Well, yeah, they're half baked.
Yeah, they're almost baked. That's what I said.
They're all squishy in the middle.
I know.
Yeah, the toothpick does not come out clean.
Who wrote What If
When you stick it in.
Padme? I fucking hate you. Who wrote What If Padme had lived to found the rebellion? You fucking
That was me, and I
emotional
actually-
terrorist.
I forgot that I had left this on this week's outline, and this is what I was going to talk about before, and I was like, "We'll stop." So let's talk about it now. What
I hate
What
you.
if Padme, like, because you think about the rebellion, and the 3 founding members are, and of course these scenes got deleted from Revenge of the Sith, thanks George Lucas, but the 3 senators who were kind of leading the opposition to Palpatine were Padme, Bail Organa, and Mon Mothma, and obviously 2 of those went on to have very prominent roles in the Rebel Alliance.
One of them turned out.
One of them lost the will to live.
Thank you. Super dead.
Bunch of them got super dead, but
Yep.
later in life.
It's true.
But I feel like this book, even more than the movies, shows us how interesting that would have been.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we said we'll touch on this point next week or next episode, but this is a really good place to discuss Padme being a little more warlike than either Bail or Mon Mothma, because she's experienced war. Like, Naboo was invaded, and she had to deal with that, and she was like off planet, she was on planet, she was running away from people. And Bail and Mon Mothma have the luxury of not ever having to deal with that. They're like, we're from peaceful planets, everything's great, and it's, I think, like, we obviously don't see it in this book, but their approach to the rebellion seems a little more idealistic. Like, they know that shit's gotta go down, but Padme's the only one who's, like, really been through it. At least at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's, contrasting, like we were before with Mon Mothma. Mon Mothma is kind of the biggest idealist of them all. Bail is an idealist too, but even Brea is like, I've started to think about how I would react if I were forced into a war.
Yeah.
And Mon Mothma if she had her way, no one would ever fight anyone. She's like kind of like Padme's dad in the like no weapons are acceptable ever under any circumstances.
Plot twist. Mon Mothma is Padme's dad.
Thank you.
That is an unexpected twist, to be sure.
It's true. Midichlorians make it happen though.
It's true.
Anything
But it's
can
also
happen.
interesting because
Did
yeah, as
Anakin
you
have a
said,
belly button? Unclear.
this got weird.
Boy.
But as you said, Miranda, Padme's the only one who actually knows what it's like to be at war. Aside from Radis and Akbar, who are not part of the rebellion yet, and
Who are not in this.
arguably are not involved in the highest levels of decision making in the canon. Like, not that they're not, but we just haven't. They've more been military leaders than strategic leaders.
Yeah, they're the
from what we've
military
seen.
leaders of the rebellion. They're not the ideological leaders.
Yeah. Like we see Radis on the council in Rogue One. So obviously like what he wants carries weight, and he also just like fucks off to Scarif without asking permission. But
A big mood.
yeah. But like, you know, he's not one of, you know, the big two or what the big three would have been. And it's interesting when you look at the rebellion as we know it, and how the fact that it took 19 years to erupt into open warfare, and two, that even at that point, like there was a lot of feeling within the rebellion that they didn't want to go to war. We see in Leia, Princess of Alderaan, which takes place 5 years before A New Hope, that I think 5 years, 3 years maybe.
Something like that.
3 years, because I think she turned 16. That's my bad. But we see like even that far before, or that short before A New Hope, they still don't want it. They're still hoping they don't have to go to war. They're preparing for it. They've accepted that they might have to, but they still don't want to.
Yeah. And that's honestly kind of like a wild point, though. It's like they want a rebellion, but they want to, because they're fundamentally pacifists, they want to overthrow this galactic autocracy, like via non-violent methods.
That is a good idea.
It is. It doesn't work, but it is a good idea. We would hope that it would work. It absolutely doesn't work.
Oh boy.
I'm just saying.
But I don't know, I just think like it's an interesting point. Like, what if Padme had been alive? Like, would she have agreed with that approach? Would her being part of it have helped in that approach? Like, we'll obviously never know. But that is a point that I'm making.
Yeah, it's very tough because obviously she is also one of the only ones to have actual experience in diplomacy instead of just theoretical experience. And, you know, she like also is a pacifist, and all things being equal would like to not do things and would like to not go to war. But to me, the wild card is that she knows best what Palpatine and Vader are capable of. And I feel like that's something that, like, even up to the destruction of Alderaan, I feel like Bail Organa and Mon Mothma thought that there were lines that they wouldn't cross. Like, to both of them, you know, we see from a certain point of view, Bail is shocked that the Death Star came to Alderaan. And Mon Mothma is basically like, well, it's over. Somebody else can pick this up if they want to. I'm done. And that shock is something that I don't think would have happened to Padme. I think if Padme had survived, she would have known from the get-go that if they had the capability to do something, they would do it.
Yes.
Yeah, like she seems to be the, I don't want to say woke because that has a different connotation now, but she seems to be like the most in tune with the actual dangers that exist and that she can find herself in.
Yeah. Which,
What do they say in the book? They're like, is it like a mix of actual danger or paranoia? And she's like, it's both.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Yeah. But again, that I think that's kind of wild too, because like once they figured out that Palpatine is like the Emperor now, like they find out that he was running like the whole separatist movement, right? I mean, like, probably not officially because, you know, he controls the means of communication. But like for the folks in the rebellion,
I think leadership knows. I don't think it's common knowledge, but leadership knows
Yeah.
because Yoda and Obi-Wan knew that Darth Sidious was Dooku's master.
yeah, and like Mon Mothma and Bail are gonna know that he was playing galactic chess against himself, and they're like, he won't blow up this planet. It's like, he started an entire civil war. Like, what makes you think he's not going to blow up one planet?
And like but he had both sides. He created the civil war against himself just for like
Funsies.
to get rid of the Jedi and make it look like an accident.
Yeah, absolutely. And this is the part where it's going to hurt even more, what I say next. She also knew Vader best.
Ugh.
Okay.
And
Thank you, Miranda.
I think she would have been I think she would have tried to get through to Anakin, but also seeing how she responds to danger and how good she is at reading people, I think that she would have understood that Vader was evil, and that she would have understood that like he was like, obviously everybody knew he was a threat, but he was kind of under wraps just because he was like wasn't used out in the open that often.
Mm-hmm.
Sure.
Like he, it was known within the Empire that he was a badass, but he didn't really leave many survivors. So he kind of was more of like a legend.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Padme would have known immediately what they were dealing with. And I don't even know what would have happened, or like what that would have led to, like if it would have led to more diplomacy or less, or if it would have led to quicker civil war, or if they would have been more prepared. But I feel like there would have been more of an understanding about what they were fighting.
Right. Yeah, and there is just like this huge aura of the unknown around Vader. We see in other books. We just read Lord of the Sith. Is that what it was called?
Yeah.
That is what it was called.
And like all the Twi'leks are like, what the fuck is this?
Famously not the book I aired it. Which one did I accidentally buy?
Dark Disciple a second time.
Thank you. Yep, that was correct.
But like what we see there is the people who like Isfal and Cham, thank you.
Hey, look at me. Growth.
Like they heard him kill a bunch of people like over a radio frequency, and they're like, oh fuck, and everybody else is like, it's fine, like when they're on the planet and shit, and they're like, it is most certainly not fine.
It's absolutely
you do not know what this guy can
unfine.
do. And like it's that, but on like a galactic scale.
Yeah.
Agree.
Ooh, I just thought of one more. What if, or not what if, but like I think this would have happened. I think Padme would have had a much better relationship with Saw than Mon Mothma did.
Oh yeah.
Agree.
Because I think Padme would have been able to understand where Saw was coming from in a way that Mon Mothma never could. Because like Mon Mothma, obviously Mon Mothma, like is incredibly smart and incredibly empathetic and like not just fighting for herself but fighting for the galaxy. But Mon Mothma never really lost anything.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Mothma seems like kind of a petty bitch.
Like
Sorry.
like she lost she lost plenty through the rebellion. I believe that she felt the losses of others very keenly. Like I'm not impugning her motives, but she was also coming at it from a place of privilege. And we've talked about that when we were reading the Aftermath series too. And Padme not only has lost her husband and the future that she thought she had, but also came very close to losing her world the way that Saw Gerrera lost his world. Mm-hmm. And has lost friends along the way, lost Corday in Attack of the Clones, lost Duja in Thrawn Alliances. I feel like there's more. Sabe said that Versae had died, so lost Versae along the way somewhere. Lost her friendship with Panaka, which I totally think that Palpatine was just like in Panaka's ear every day since Phantom Menace and is the reason why he and Padme had a falling out. But that's a headcanon. Like she's actually lost things, and I feel like she would have been able to come, and she's also humbled herself more than Mon Mothma has if you look at her relationship with the Gungans. Mm-hmm. Like Mon Mothma has kind of always been very my way or the highway.
Yeah, and like Padme has done all of that shit before the rebellion starts. She's done all of that at like a pretty young age. And Mon Mothma has gone through her life, and like she doesn't really start to have any of that tragedy or any of those difficulties until the rebellion starts. And again, like you said, I do think that she feels all of those losses, but it's not until then. So she doesn't have that history. She doesn't have that institutional knowledge of knowing what that feels like and how to deal with it. It's like the first time for her. So when somebody like Saw comes around, she's like, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, do we assume or do we know that Mon Mothma's planet has been largely at peace besides
Chandrila?
this? Yeah.
Yes, we do know that.
Cool. Yeah.
Like, I think it's what I've gathered in between the lines of various things like Aftermath and Rebels and this is that it is an important enough planet, not just like Alderaan, but also in resources, that, I mean, if the Death Star hadn't been blown up, then would Chandrila have been next on the list?
Probably.
Absolutely. But I think that Chandrila is an important enough planet that afforded her the leeway that she had to basically openly oppose Palpatine without Chandrila getting, devastation rained on it from Star Destroyers even before the Death Star.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Thank you. That was a great answer to my question. Did we answer the more diplomacy question?
We talked about it.
Okay.
Yeah, we talked around it. I don't know that we.
Yeah. I think I agree. Who is the Phantom Menace is the next point on the outline.
Ooh, sorry. One last thing on what if
Sure.
Padme had lived. Leia would have been a Jedi.
Ooh.
Okay, I'm done.
Pretty good, Chris.
I still think they would have hidden Luke because fucking sexism, and they would have been like, the son is the important one.
Yeah.
But I think they would have left Leia, and I think that Padme would have felt very strongly that Leia should follow her force powers and her instincts.
Joke's on you guys. Luke's a dumbass.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Joke's on all of us. Anyway, so yeah, who is the Phantom Menace? Miranda?
Oh, mine is the third one. It's the fucker from Scipio.
Scipio? Yep.
Is it Scipio?
It is Scipio.
Oh, that's
Did they say Scipio in Clone Wars? I thought it was Scipio.
Oh,
Is it like this?
maybe I'm wrong.
I don't know. I just played a lot of Rome Total War growing up, so I'm used to like the Scipio.
Oh, it's probably Scipio.
I think it's Scipio.
It's Roman.
I wrote
It
it's Snoke. So
And then I did enter tab clove cigarettes.
He's the worst.
Rush Clovis.
Oh, I was gonna say Rain Clovis.
Rain Clovis.
He has a first name.
Rush
with a word,
Limbaugh.
and I don't remember which one it is, but That guy.
Rush Limbaugh.
And then the first point that I'm sure Keeks put on.
I didn't.
Oh. was that you?
Wait, I didn't either. Who put that on?
I think it was you, Miranda.
Oh, was that
I
from last
copied
week?
it from last week.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So it was absolutely also you.
Yes. It's that guy from that French play.
This is a audio medium, and she just tried to do a visual joke,
Of the typo. It
Yes.
says French instead of French.
and you did it on purpose.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Well, I had to read it out loud. That's what the outline says.
mhm,
That's how
great.
it works.
Super.
She was adapting her art to the medium, Kristen.
You need to let me shine.
Oh my
I
god.
hate you.
Okay. Apparently it was useless. Good. So another thing that comes up in this book while we're on the topic of Leia, she and Padme were both in the junior legislature.
Yay.
So that's exciting.
Apparently all it taught her was how to get around the building and nothing fucking else.
Well, it taught Leia to not trust boys because they'll blow up.
Boys
This
will
is true.
blow up. Boys will blow up.
And they'll blow up you. Shit.
Great.
Your shit.
Everyone will blow up.
Everyone will blow up.
Boys will blow up. That's what you just said.
It'd be like that sometimes. I don't make the rules. No, but it's like a nice little parallel, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
Very depressing one, but it's fine.
Most of this book is depressing parallels.
That is
so,
correct.
I know. Honestly,
hey.
there's not a single part of this book that isn't depressing if you think about it hard enough.
I know. And, I think that's like I know you guys will talk about it more in the wrap, but, or we will. I don't know whether or not I will be on it, but, yeah, I'm about to go on vacation for the first time in like a year and a half. So mazel tov to me. But, fuck, I had a point and it's gone. It'll come back. It won't, but it's fine.
Woo.
Someone else talk, please.
Depressing. The book is depressing.
Oh, I just thank you. I think it's testament to how well it's written that like the harder you think about any line, the more depressing it gets. Like it's really just like rich in its layering of writing into the past. Shit that already exists, which I know is on the outline to talk about, and we talked about it a little bit the first episode, but just making, I mean, I don't think it feels forced, I guess is my point, and it's really well layered, and I thought it was really, really flawlessly executed.
Yes.
Yeah, I'd agree.
No, I think UK Johnson did a really great job, even if it makes us feel very sad inside. Even during
Indeed.
the happy parts, which is bullshit.
Yeah, right? Fuck.
It's like, I want to enjoy this time on Alderaan, and all I can think of is,
Alderon's
no.
about to explode.
oh no.
Literally everyone in this scene is going to die.
Yep.
You and you and you and you and you.
All super fucking dead.
You're being written for me to like you so much,
On
and
purpose.
you're gonna die
It's very,
Mhm.
Just
very
to-
rude.
just to make me feel sadder about it.
Mm-hmm.
It's not cool.
And on that note, thanks for listening to episode 106 of the Book Wars Pod. Next episode, we're going to be wrapping up Queen Shadow by E.K. Johnston. It is likely going to be in 2 weeks, not next week.
Theoretically.
Theoretically, maybe.
If I could
as
get the
Kristen
outro
said-
music to work. There we go.
There you
There
go.
It is.
As Kristen said, she's going to be on a well-deserved vacation. So we'll figure out something to release next week. Also, if you want to get a jump on your reading, our next book is going to be Thrawn Treason by Timothy Zahn.
Yay!
It is Blue Boy time again.
Eli comes back.
Yeah.
Eli is back. Aralani is back. Krennic is there.
We just got our, and by we I mean Miranda just got her Barnes and Noble hard copy with the poster in it of Thrawn on one side and
Eli.
and a lady on the other side.
Nice.
Very exciting
Yes.
stuff.
So
for
we're
me.
very excited for that. You all know that Anybody Blue is prime Book Wars content.
Yay!
In the meantime, hit us up on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Tumblr at BookWarsPod, bookwarspod@gmail.com if you want to email us, and rate, review, and subscribe to both us and the Tashi Station Radio Mega Feed. It is the best way for people to discover the show, especially in the lead up to all the amazing Star Wars content that's coming in the next 2 months. If anybody's looking for a Star Wars podcast, you giving us a review and a rating really helps them do that. Also, if you have the means and you're so inclined, please donate to the Tashi Station Radio Patreon and give us coffee at ko-fi.com/bookwarspod. When you do, we will post official pod pictures of Porkchop, Orca, and Jasper. They're all perfect, so you're
Accurate.
the ones missing out.
Accurate.
Just saying.
Super
Our theme
accurate.
song is Whiz Bang by Poddington Bear. Our logo and artwork are by Joe Butera Design. For Kristen and Miranda, I'm Chris. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the Book Wars Pod, and we'll talk to you in a couple weeks.
I think it's a good idea, and I'm standby.
Oh my